Yo there, folks, what's up? Oh my God, it's like 100 million degrees outside in Houston. We went out on vacation, came back, and it was just a hot wave. Hot wave. Not even a heat wave, just a hot wave. You step outside, and your energy levels just go gazoom. So I've been sitting here in this kind of trans-meditative state all day trying to get my energy up and decided it ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna get nothing done today, so let's make some videos. Let's have some fun. Let's play some barriles. So this is my first one right here. My first barril is a homemade barril. I made this, it was real easy. I was just walking around the Montrose, which is a Houston area, a long time ago, back before gentrification happened, and saw this at a garage sale and bought it for 20 bucks. She said it was an olive barrel, which is perfect for me, my Italian people and them olives. You can see it's just a regular standard barrel inside. I did nothing to the barrel other than tack a skin on there. And how do we do it? Well, as my son was helping me, it's about 20 years ago, so this thing's about 20 years old, still intact, still plays. And I got a thinner cow skin. It is cow, it's not goat. And I would just, he would stand on, walk around the drum, keep it wet for me, and I just pull down. I put glue all over the edge here, and then just tack these furniture tacks on it all the way around. So you go one side, pull, you know, traditional. Got it all done fairly decently. It's held together and it still plays. I warmed it up a little bit outside in the sun to get a good sound, but it's very light. I put a mount on it recently because I was doing some brass band called me to do some subbing work, and I didn't have a bass drum, so I use it for a bass drum with a mallet, just hanging off my shoulder. It's super light. It's fun to play. Sounds good, and you can definitely get your bulliador going on with this thing. So let's take a listen to this homemade barril, 14 inches. See, it sounds, you know, pretty thumpy, pretty funky. You know, the humidity will kill it pretty quick, but it still has a nice hum to it, and you can still play on it, so it's a lot of fun. It's the only drum I've ever made, and probably will be the only drum I'll ever make, and I didn't really make it. I just tacked the skin on it. So simple to do. I've seen lots of these out there. Myron Nord has a ton of them. But if you ever get bored, and you can find a good, decent, you know, piece of wood out there that's intact. Like I said, this thing's still intact. Look at that. That great Cooperage craftsmanship, you know, still in one piece, still all together. A trick that I learned from a guy named Godwin Bailey, who's a master Ghanaian drummer. They make a lot of drums in West Africa now, the A-way drums. They didn't used to, but now they use barrels as well. And he said that you keep it moist, so every once in a while, you know, I put some water in there, run it around, keep the wood moist to keep it fat so it doesn't dry up and shrivel up. All right, so that's barrel number one. Barrel number two is a score that I'm just so happy about. I was trying to get a homemade, you know, Puerto Rican barril. It's hard here in the States. In Houston, there's a dearth of culture. There's a lot of culture here, but not like this kind of culture. You know, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans here, a lot of Cubans here, a lot of Venezuelans, Colombians, people from all over the world, but we don't have a real big focus on, you know, the arts, and it doesn't attract artist types. So a lot of musicians who come here are great, but they're working. So they're out playing gigs and trying to maintain their homes and stuff. So we don't have a lot of people focused on, you know, the tradition and promoting the tradition. So couldn't find anybody. Called around, text some people I knew in Puerto Rico. They made a recommendation. Didn't work out. You know, it's taking a while. Just things weren't working out with the order. So I was like, I bailed on it and got a Pandero instead. But during that time, this popped up. And a cat down in Florida named Pele Figueroa. Thank you very much. And they had this for sale. And I looked at it, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. You know, oak stave made from a barrel in the tradition. Now this is a really interesting drum because initially it was made with the cunas for tuning. And it was made purportedly by William Cepeda of the famous, you know, Cepeda family. So it's got the pedigree. You see inside, it's beautiful wood. It's super well made, super tight, super well put together. The staves are different sizes here and there. You can see where the tuning metal post or wood post used to be. Somebody later on put, of course, metal all around. You know, it's a good job. It's a little rustic. The flesh hoop's a little too big for the hoop, so it bends a little bit here, bends a little bit there. But it's got a nice goat skin on it. It looks like I don't know, the African goat, or I've seen Dominican skins like that where they scrape them off, but it's fairly thick, not super thin for a goat, so it's probably chivo macho, which is what you want. And the barrel itself has a great resonance to it. It's got a real nice, solid construction. You can really, I don't know if you can hear that, but you can really hear the resonance of the wood. So this drum to me just sounds fantabulous, and never having been to Puerto Rico and never really having seen a real bomba group, I would imagine that this is what they would sound like, or should sound like. So let's check it out. Tone. It's funky, it's got warmth, it's got resonance, it's got history behind it. I love this drum. I really love it, so I'm super happy I was able to find it and get it. It wasn't easy trying to do business with people in Puerto Rico. It's a different way of doing business, I understand that, but I had to give me one and I got it, and it was not too expensive, and the dude was super cool, helped me get it to the house, and this is just a piece of history, and such a amazing drum. Shows the real, you know, initial way of building them with the cunas and hammering in the wood, and then later on, you know, some handmade hardware that'll work just fine. It does, and the good goat skin on there. So next one is this big moperc drum here. I like moperc. I have quite a few of their congas. I've always liked the way they make things, and he made a few barriles, so I had to make sure I got one because I don't know if he'll make some more. But it's a 14-inch. It's made of ash. It's when you tap the shell of the you know, barrel made drum, it's a lot more resonant. This one's a lot tighter, a lot more stiff. It doesn't have that oomph to it. So, you know, we'll see how it sounds over time, but, you know, for just structure, you can't go wrong with a moperc because they're made so well. Stainless steel, you know, glued perfectly, everything. It's got a great shape on it, so it's going to be a great drum. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's got a horse skin on there, which is very thin. But you know, probably closer to like a female goat skin maybe. And I know that the cats I talked to that use chivo macho, which is a male goat. But I also understand some people have been using some thin calf like they do on some of the djembes. So, you know, skin is skin. The point is to try to get the sound that you like and the vibe that you like out of it. So this is a horse skin, which sounds great on bongo machos. So let's give a listen to this drum and see what it sounds like. So there you go. It's kind of lively. It's got a lot of brightness to it. Francis sent me another flesh hoop with this, so I ordered skin that looks kind of like this. It's a thick Ivory Coast, pre-shaven, goat skin, so I'm gonna try that out on here too and see what it sounds like. But I like the sound of it. It's really live, but it make a really good lead drum if you're using 214s. This one with the bulle and then this one with the lead drum, you can really get down on it. It's a good drum. And then last but not least is this little primo here. This is to me the gem of the crop, just in terms of, you know, making a drum from a barrel and the quality of work that went into this drum. I don't know who made it for sure. I bought it on eBay, talked to the cat a little bit of stuff in Chicago. He said that it was made at a workshop. It might have been Ivan Davila with the shell and then somebody else with the hardware. The hardware says CA on it. So you guys over there in Puerto Rico know already CA. That's who made the little side plates. Obviously, what they did with this drum is they just got a regular conga hoop. It's a 12 and a half. Regular conga hoop, conga lugs. Made some side lugs for it and then made the barrel. But the barrel is just beastly. I mean, it's nice thick oak, beautiful oak, super tight seams, just perfectly round, and a lot of little details that make it look cool, like, you know, using the banding here on this, the laces here on the metal bands, and then putting it around the rim there on top to keep it nice and, you know, so it don't hurt your hands or whatever. It's a primo. It's got a very thin goat skin on it. Well, you see the backbone right there down it. It's also got a handle, which I thought was cool. And it's the heaviest out of them all. I think it's even heavier than this ash moperc. It's just really solid oak staves, so it's a beautiful drum. But used for soloing, I guess, would be the purpose of it. So let's take a listen to the primo. Primolicious! Baby really rips. She rips really loud. She's a beautiful drum. I love them. I love these barriles. I first got introduced to them when I bought the Bombasso album about 20 years ago. William Cepeda. That just blew my mind. And now it's really coming to the forefront. You see a lot of videos out there. You can really watch it, see how the dancers move with the drumming. And very similar to a lot of Afro-Antillean styles, like, you know, in Martinique and Guadeloupe, then the Garifuna music, you know, very similar shaped drums, very similar style with the lead drummer and the dancers. Beautiful music, beautiful African roots music I just love. So I'm really happy that it's becoming more known, it's more accessible, and of course we can get drums and we can play them because we drummers, I love to drum. Baby, y'all have a good one. Hasta la vista!